Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, our mission for this explainer is to really deep dive into the fascinating observational records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Tsutomu Yoshida. Now, right off the bat, I want to clarify what this is not. We're not here to judge whether AI is good or bad, and we're definitely not doing a how-to tutorial. Instead, we're looking at Yoshida's real-time observations of how we, all of us, actually behave and interact with technology and all these shiny new buzzwords in our hyper-fast digital society. We're going to use the core questions raised in both the Japan and international editions of his work to guide us today. And look, we're not rushing to any neat and tidy conclusions. We're just going to explore these incomplete thoughts together and really zero in on why understanding the true essence of things matters so much. Yoshida's core stance here is honestly so refreshing. He explicitly states, incomplete thoughts, pending questions, are left as is under the premise that we are still in a transition period. Think about that for a second. Instead of trying to force some textbook perfect answer, he intentionally leaves things open. Because let's face it, technology is evolving at breakneck speed, and we haven't even fully digested these changes ourselves. So there is immense value in just sitting with these unresolved questions and observing the friction of this crazy transitional era we're living through. So let's jump right into Section 1, Illusion of Knowledge versus Essence, focusing on the Japan edition. Yoshida shares this really interesting anecdote from his early corporate days to kick things off. He was working at a life insurance company, specifically in an administrative guidance department that handled online training for the sales branches. So he was right on the front lines of applying business tools. Back then, his senior colleagues loved to test him. They'd say, "Hey, do you know what IT actually stands for? It's information technology." There was this whole culture of being super proud of just knowing the exact derivation of abbreviations. And sure, as a trivia fact, that's 100% correct. It definitely feels like you're mastering the basics of the digital world. But let's pause and really think about this for a second. Is this knowledge actually useful? Did knowing that IT stands for information technology ever, even once, help you do your job better? Yoshida looked back on decades of his career and had a huge realization. That specific piece of trivia literally never helped him solve a complex business problem or actually get work done. None. And that realization totally shakes up how we approach learning about new technologies today. It's a total paradigm shift. Asking what is IT and just knowing the name or definition, well, that's just an illusion of knowledge. It's basically a vocabulary test. What society and our workplaces actually demand is the answer to what can IT do? It's all about utility. There is a massive wall between just knowing the name of something and truly understanding its capability. When we look at practical applications, this clicks perfectly. We don't use personal computers just because we want to use the word PC. We use them to improve business efficiency. The internet? We use it to share information globally. Cloud tech lets us work from absolutely any location. And artificial intelligence is there to create new value and solve complex problems. Do you see the pattern? It's always about the verbs, not the nouns. The function of the technology, the practical application, that is the true essence. Yet in our everyday reality, we are constantly bombarded with endless acronyms. AI, DX, ICT, IoT, they just keep coming. Yoshida uses this brilliant metaphor to describe this, the entrance versus the essence. Memorizing what these letters stand for, okay, sure, that gets you to the entrance. It's a starting point. But if you just stand at the door, memorizing the sign on the outside, you're entirely missing the point. You have to actually walk through that door to reach the essence, to figure out how this thing is actually going to impact our work and our daily lives. And that brings us to Section 2, Global Shifting Questions, focusing on the international edition. Getting stuck at that entrance isn't just a local issue. It is a universal, global phenomenon. We're all kind of wandering around in the same digital maze. But out there on the global front lines of business, the standard for success is crystal clear. Top-tier IT experts and engineers are absolutely not evaluated on how much jargon they've memorized. They're evaluated on whether they understand the essence of a technology well enough to solve real problems and create tangible value. In the professional world, the true common language isn't acronyms, it's utility. In his current community role in Japan as a digital promotion committee member, Yoshida is seeing this play out firsthand. He's not just talking to tech insiders, he's out there helping everyday people navigate their smartphones and PCs. And because he's right there on the ground level, he's been able to witness a really fascinating shift in the general public's mindset.
Here is the crucial turning point he noticed. It used to be that everyday folks would come up to him and ask, "What does AI stand for?" But today, that question has completely changed. Now they're asking, What can AI do for me? That is huge. Users are literally walking right past that entrance sign and directly demanding the essence. This shift in how people ask questions is a massive wake-up call that we need to totally rethink our approach to digital education.
Which leads perfectly into Section 3, redefining literacy, walking through the door. Since both global industry standards and everyday users are zeroing in on practical utility, we really need to redefine what true digital literacy actually means today. Yoshida breaks this transition down into 3 clear steps. Step 1, understand the core concept, like get the big picture of what the tool is. Step 2, actually apply the technology practically, get your hands dirty. And Step 3, use it to improve your daily life and work. It's about a continuous process of application, not just rote memorization. I want to highlight a quote from Yoshida that really anchors this entire explainer. He says, "Understanding the essence is more important than knowing the name." It's so incredibly simple, yet so profound. Before we ever bother explaining what an acronym stands for, we should be able to have a real conversation about how that tech functions in the real world and how it actually helps us. That's the gold standard for how we should be communicating about technology. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 4, Thoughts Left Incomplete, an Open Inquiry. Remember at the very beginning when we talked about Yoshida's premise of leaving thoughts incomplete? Well, here is exactly why that matters. The digital world is going to constantly, relentlessly spawn new words and new technologies. The buzzwords are literally never going to stop coming. Because of that, we can't afford to keep getting stuck at the entrance trying to memorize every new name. We have to stay stubbornly focused on utility. We have to be okay with our understanding being a bit of a work in progress, as long as we never stop seeking that core essence. I'm going to leave you with one final, provocative question straight from Yoshida's records. Do you think digital education should focus more on practical understanding than on terminology? In a society that is literally changing by the minute, where are you going to spend your time? Are you going to stand outside memorizing the names on the doors? Or are you going to open them and explore what's actually inside? You don't need to answer right now. Let that question linger. Think about it as you go about your day. Thanks so much for joining me for this deep dive.